So, for today's record label tip, we're going to be discussing how record labels distribute music. When it comes to music distribution for your artist, you want to make sure that you're picking the right partner to distribute through. The way it works these days is that you have to go through a distributor in order to get the music onto DSPs, which are the digital service providers. And, so as far as kind of setting up the relationship, you don't want to have to migrate a catalog for if you have one artist or 10 artists or 20 artists. It can be a real nightmare. So picking the right partner at the beginning is really important. But there's also, besides the music distributor, there's two other platforms that a lot of record label owners don't know about. And so they end up missing and leaving a lot of money on the table. So I'm actually going to go through those as well. But let's hit the music distributor first. From my personal experience, right, because I am a record label owner myself, as well as an independent artist, I'm going to go through 4 different distributors that are kind of make me warm and fuzzy and are well known. So starting with Distrokid. So as far as Distrokid, this is one of my favorite distributors, and I kind of decide who I'm going to work with, depending on what the release is, but Distrokid rocks. From the standpoint of a record label, as a record label, you can have unlimited releases each year, but there is an annual fee. Right now, it's $80. If you're just an artist, then it's $20. But that's a one-time fee for all of the artists that you are representing and distributing. Okay, but you are getting 100% of the royalties. And what I really like about Distrokid is that they have the ability to pay out your artists, co-writers, and producers, and features, and all of that directly on the platform. So that means as a record label, you're not having to then go and pay everyone individually, which can be an accounting nightmare. So that's really nice and a huge, benefit not only for independent artists, but something that I particularly like. It's also very easy to use. It's quick when you're uploading music. And, it also does things like adds music to the different social media platforms. So therefore, it's in stories, your artist can promote, they can do it in reels. So that's all cool. And there's lots of different upgrades. You can, opt in from monetization on YouTube. So there's all these additional services, which are great. Okay. Moving on, number 2, CD Baby is another distributor that I actually first started with way back in the day. And for me, I don't use CD Baby quite as often anymore, but it's a good platform. They have lots of upgrades and things that they can help you with. But I have heard, as a real entertainment attorney, I work with a lot of record labels, and I have heard some complaints in regards to customer service. The actual distribution services and what they do as a company, cool, but there have been some complaints about customer service. But the rates are pretty good. It's $29 per album that you distribute as like a one-time fee. And then it's $10 for a single. You can upgrade, so it's like $70 if you want to do a pro, or what they call CD Baby Pro. And so in which case you are getting like collections from performance rights organizations. So there are some upgrades that you can do. And then the third one is TuneCore. So TuneCore also is a very, very popular platform. For a long time, people were just kind of not loving it as much just because of the price. TuneCore was a little bit more expensive than some of its competitors, but I checked today. So as of, today, the release of this video, TuneCore is not quite as expensive as it used to be. And so I was seeing on its website, it's $15 to $30 a year if you are like an artist, and then it's $50 if you're a label. Okay, so then kind of going through what we just discussed as far as those annual fees, they're pretty competitive. All right, last but not least, and this is kind of a unique one that I want you guys to look at, because right now this is my principal distributor that I'm working with, and I'll tell you why. Prem Digital has, a $10 monthly fee that you can pay, but they offer a free option where they essentially just take a percentage of revenue. So if you don't have a lot of upfront cash, you don't want to be paying these monthly expenses or annual expenses, there is options with distributors like Prem Digital where you can go through and they'll just take a portion of revenue rather than requiring fees. And then at that point, it's just a cost-benefit analysis of what makes more sense, right? You're going to lose more money by the distributor taking a fee versus you just paying something small upfront. So that's what you need to do as a record label owner to make the best decision for your company. Okay, so then moving on, other than the music distributor, because again, distributor, you upload the music, one step, have the cover art, have the song for the artist, and then the distributor will send it out to all the different music platforms. Those platforms make the money. They send the money back to the distributor. Distributor dumps the money into your account. So it's actually very nice and convenient. And then if you're through, like a Prem Digital or a Distrokid, they can pay out the co-writers. And so really you're done. After you distribute, easy breezy, right? But there are two other platforms that people miss money. And I even made this mistake. I didn't know about it for so many years, being an independent artist. And then I went and set up an account and the money was just like waiting there, which is a very nice thing. Okay, so if you want some free money, hold tight. I got that for you. But before we get to that, just a quick reminder. So for my record label course, we only have 7 spots left. Once we hit 100 students, I am going to be closing enrollment. As a real record label attorney, I build record labels every single day. What I do for clients as far as helping them to scale to 6 figures and to really the real life stuff, making money, selling catalogs for them in the millions of dollars, which we literally did in recent weeks. You only can do this if you have that legal protection, if you have the right contracts, and if you understand how this stuff works. If you don't take yourself to school to be a successful record label owner, you're going to make a lot of mistakes. And you can avoid all that stuff. So that's why I put together the course. I'm at capacity with my law firm. I can't take any more record label clients, but the course provides you everything that you need. And for basically the next week, and then I'm closing enrollment for the next week, you can get the course 50% off. So it's like ridiculously reduced price. And you can check that out in the link down below. But as far as those 2 platforms that I was talking about, the first is SoundExchange. Now, I'm going to be sure to post a link down for you of a video that I did more in depth explaining SoundExchange. But what you need to remember is you have the music distributor, and then you have SoundExchange, which collects the non-interactive streaming from platforms like Pandora, like SiriusXM, and they're going to collect the revenues for you until you come and get them, if that makes sense. So if you are distributing music and you just, forget that this is something you need to do, and then you're going to go and register, because they're going to ask for information, right? So they're going to be like, what's the ISRC code? What's the artist name? This and that. But once you register the account and you claim those songs, then you get paid. And then same thing, you connect your bank account and then you just continuously get paid for all of that catalog. The masters specifically. So that's the second platform. There's one more though, okay? So you have the music distributor that you're going to distribute through. You're going to collect the masters streaming revenue from SoundExchange. And then finally, you have to make sure you're collecting the performance rights revenue, which is going to be, at least for the United States, the companies are BMI and ASCAP principally. So you can usually pick one, if not both, to register the music on. And that's to make sure that you get paid when the artist's music is played publicly, right? So that could be playing it, in a restaurant, on the radio, even live performances. You can actually register and be like, hey, my artist performed at this venue at this time. This is how many people were there. You get paid for that too. So don't leave money on the table. And there are services out there that will go and collect in other countries, because you can easily register at, on BMI ASCAP here in the United States, but there's a performance rights organization for basically every country in the world. And so there's a lot of money that, people leave on the table because they just don't know. So that's why I wanted to go just a little bit further and give you guys more value than just talking about how to distribute the music. But when you distribute, again, you distribute, you register on SoundExchange, and then you're going to go and register the music on BMI or ASCAP. And for my record label clients, pro tip, a lot of them do end up registering on both platforms, BMI and ASCAP. And it's because you do have to be registered on the platform where your artist is registered. And so if you're collecting the publishing, it's a whole thing. So the easy breezy thing is just re-register. I think it's like $50 on ASCAP to register there. And then on BMI, it's like $200. So you probably will end up having to register on both. But again, don't miss out. Make sure that you are collecting all the revenues that you are entitled to. All right, guys. So again, if you are looking for help, make sure you check that link down below. I am going to close enrollment to the course. I cover all this stuff because, it's the practical in the weeds, how you get paid, and most importantly, how we scale you to 6 figures as a record label.